Okay guys, so a brand new Grand Prix has just begun and this is our chance to unlock the brand new Maserati MC12, but I think that the car itself shows us a trend of where Asphalt 9 is heading to that is quite interesting to say at least. So let's begin with today's video. The races that you are about to see are far from being good, but I think will be good enough to explain what I want to. First of all, this car acceleration is far from being competitive at all, since it's not good for C-Class, not for the game overall. The major blow of this car is not the acceleration though, but the nitro efficiency. This car has a stock nitro value of just 9 points, and that's insanely low, and it's not like it's get way better, because once that you got it, the nitro value increases to a total value of 38. But I don't know, it feels like it's lower, or maybe it's just that I'm not used to drive cars with such a bad nitro efficiency. The top speed is quite nice for C-Class, but combined with such a weak nitro efficiency and acceleration stats, makes this car a quite mediocre option overall, which is quite sad because this car used to be mediocre as well on Asphalt 8, but at least got buffed and nowadays is, you know, kinda decent, which doesn't seem to be the case on Asphalt 9. And this reference to Asphalt 8 is quite helpful to what I'm about to talk about. How the number of mediocre and not so useful cars will only increase on Asphalt 9 as the team keeps spacing. It's not sustainable to bring a lot of cars and make all of them good competitors or king, or at the end it's just driving the same thing just that looks different. Therefore, the only viable option seems to be to bring mediocre and average cars, or just a straight useless one like the newest KTM X-Bow. So seeing new kings and useful cars becomes something awaited by the community as it becomes something weirder, less usual as the time keeps passing. And do you know why I know that this is what will happen to Asphalt 9? Because Asphalt 8 was at the exact same point years ago. Nowadays, Asphalt 8 has over 360 cars, and I can assure you that less than 50 of them are actually strong competitors of King. But to success on multiplayer and events, you only need like 10, like the 10 best S-Class cars, and then one car from each class. And that's it. You can achieve everything on the game with less than 20 cars out of, you know, like almost 400 cars. On Asphalt 9 is slightly different because we have the Clash, where, you know, you need more cars in order to defend and attack successfully, but at the end you wouldn't need more than 40 or 50 cars, and we have well over 200 cars right now. I don't know if this is something good or bad. At the end it is up to us to decide whether to go or not for the mediocre car. The main issue I see is if we actually need to max mediocre cars just to lock, startup and gold useful cars, like for example on the Jaguar XJR9 special event, where if we wanted to lock the car through the special event, we would have needed to max the Frangivento, which is basically the best example I can think of an useless car, and even worse, a really expensive useless car. And that will make sense from Gameloft's perspective, but in the long term will be something really bad, because you will not only have to save up for mixing a good car, but also for potentially expensive extra cars like the XJR9's special event case. Anyways, it is what it is. At least as long as Gameloft keeps bringing good cars back from time to time through bars of speed special events, that may remain as our only chance left to unlock worthy cars without having to sell a kidney in order to gold them through a painful event like the Jaguar. Of course, I have reached this realization point way before the Maserati MC12 Grand Prix. It's just that I just have the opportunity to talk a bit about that situation. Of course, I will try to unlock the car with the bare minimum just in case, because I don't feel like wasting a single token on this Maserati MC12. I don't think it's a good idea, because if you have the Ferrari 599X Evo, the McLaren GT, or even the Arinera Ucera, you are well more than prepared for any endeavors that may require your C-Class garage. This whole situation of Asphalt 9 introducing some cars just for the sake of doing it in order to bring new content and that stuff, it leads to quite sad results sometimes, as was the case of cars like the Glickenhaus 004C, the Mercedes EMG Black Series, or the Pagani Huayra Air. All that cars share a defect in common, which is the drift radius. All of them could have been extremely competitive cars if they did not have such a massive speed loss while drifting. And that makes them way less useful, especially on twisty tracks. And that cars look like kings based on their stats the first time we saw them, but once the moment of the truth arrived, a characteristic that wasn't present on the stats because the drift radius or the speed loss while drifting is not something present on the stats, turned out to be a fatal flaw that basically killed any chance that cars could have of being kings or top competitors at their respective classes. But now it's your turn, I think. I would like to know your strategies about this for the future, guys. Will you try to start up as much as possible the new cars that arrive on Asphalt 9, regardless of the performance, or you will just try to unlock them with the bare minimum just in case they are required for a good car special event? Let me know your thoughts and decisions in the comment section. Make sure to drop your like, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye, guys.